Hey everybody, I forgot to turn the audio on. I didn't say anything important. I just said, yay, my coffee. Um, I, I got 11 games in the Discord, and I put them in the classroom so we can look at them and so forth. Wow, we have 974 subs? Huh. How do we have 974 subs? Let me check that. Oh, I didn't make a thing. I wonder if we got subs since I streamed yesterday. Well, let's find out. Recent events. No, yesterday somebody gave a sub. No? All right. Well, that's good. So it should say, yeah, we need 26 more subs to get to 1,000. Yeah, this is one of my new shirts. I got it about a month ago. I like it. Thanks, Tom Rocks. And so forth. You don't need to convince us that you have ADHD, Tom. We believe you. And so forth. So it probably makes sense to get to 1,000 subs before we start, because then we'd have 1,000 subs. You can't argue with that logic. It will be on Chess TV in 20 minutes. I don't think Karen's going to join us today because she's playing poker all day and she's doing well. She's cashed in one event and she's saddied another one into a bigger event and so forth. Mainly and so forth. Yeah, I need coffee to stay awake. Click this link to bring up the Poker Now website. Enter your Twitch username. What? What's Nightbot saying? Ben will pick up to 10 people to join the game. Oh, you typed exclam poker. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's from like a year ago. Tom Rocks put exclam poker, and so that's at least a year old, that thing. It's probably more than a year old. We've had a couple poker streams. What's your opinion on TwitchCon? What's TwitchCon? My opinion is I don't know what that is. That's a good opinion. Can't argue with that. Sounds like a con. Man, I can't see. My glasses are dirty, but I think it's just that I can't see. Well, your name is Ben too, so that's good. As long as everybody is Ben. Go, Carol Khan. Exactly. Okay, so we'll start, I guess, since nobody's giving a sub. The first game was submitted by Trevor, and Trevor has white. It says his ELO is 818, and his opponent's ELO is 1700. So he's paired up a lot. All right, let's see what happened. Okay, so we have a London. Knight c6 is an odd move, but it doesn't lose. It should lose, but it doesn't. Anyway, we're not here to critique black. We're here to critique white. I mean, no, we critique everybody. A6, stopping bishop b5. c4 is a good move. Bishop e6 is a weird move. It's hard to believe black's 1700 because so far he's playing like he's 700. White's playing pretty well, though. Okay, dc. So white played a solid move, which isn't bad. What the best move is e4, threatening d5. And then white has a big advantage. Then white basically plays d5 against any black move. Bishop e2 is okay. b5, knight g5, very aggressive, but I like it. Take that bishop. Bishop d5. Okay, now white made his first mistake. So far, white's played better than black by some measure, I would say. Now, white has to play e4. Although white could have played e4 earlier, now e4 is even better. And then the bishop doesn't have anywhere to go. So black would have to play h6. And the complications, according to the engine, favor white. Okay, but white played knight takes d5. That's a poor move because you're getting rid of your control of the center here. Knight takes d5 is correct. Now black is better because black's up a pawn. Black's threatening to take this. Okay, now white played another move which is a little iffy. Played bishop h5, forcing black to play g6. Bishop f3 is a good move. And e6 is a good move. Okay, then white played rook c1, which is too slow. I mean, black's going to play bishop b4 check, and you're going to have to move your king. So it would be better to castle here and not have to move your king. Also, black gains a tempo to castle if he checks first. So rook c1, that's not the best move. Let's see. Some guy's texting me while I'm streaming. Okay. All right, so he played bishop b4 check, which is what I would play. King e2. There's two legal moves, and he played the worst one. Well, I guess queen d2 and rook c3 are legal moves, but I didn't expect that. The king f1 is better. Now, because of the poor rook c1, black can take all this stuff here that's hanging. So he played rook b8. It's hard to believe black's 1700. More like 700. Maybe these are Lee chess ratings. Okay, so black has an obvious way to win more material. Just take on f4, and then take on d4. Check. That's why king f1 was better. And then you could take this. And then black's up 2 pawns. Or is black up 3 pawns? 5, 4, 6. It's hard to believe that white has 6 pawns. It doesn't look like white has that many. Okay, so black is just winning here. He played the non sequitur rook b8. So when he played rook to b8, it's almost like he didn't realize all these moves were check. Because if they weren't check, then he'd be right to play rook b8 because the bishop would be harassing the rook here. Okay, bishop takes d5. E takes d5. Bishop a5? That's not a move I would consider. That's a poor place for the bishop. Bishop d6, bishop e7. Bishop a5. That's not where the bishop goes. All right. Luckily, black is a pawn up for virtually nothing, so still has a good game. Okay, b4. That's giving black a protected past c pawn, so that's probably not a good move. Okay, then they played some moves. They were neither good nor bad. They were just moves. Never play f6. Black is just up a pawn. And white doesn't really have any compensation for it. Got the triangle offense going here, or the diamond offense. Ooh, that was a nice tactic from black. So rook a2 was a mistake because now the queen's overworked. So black took advantage of that, proving he's 1700. All right, so now black's up a lot of pawns. I don't know how many, but a lot. And he's got this cool pawn structure. Always sack the exchange. Can't argue with that. Put it in H. Queen G4. I guess black was threatening mate, so I guess Queen G4 is okay. Queen D3 check. I would probably queen this pawn. The engine wants to play Rook A8, Rook A1 mate. Also good. I can't argue with that. Okay, check. C3 is good. And this ending's pretty winning. Like in these positions, if black wanted to, it doesn't matter. It could matter, but doesn't here. Black could like queen with check and then fork this and then take. It doesn't matter because black is so winning, but just as an aside. Okay, here. Whoa. He queened and then he took this pawn instead of playing rook c2 check. All right, that's unusual. And then the game ended. There's no more moves. It didn't have a result, but I assume white resigned. But I can't prove it. So white was doing well in the opening. So you played a good opening, Trevor. Then bad things happened. But, I mean, that was a good opening you had. You played really well in the opening. Thanks, Malcherino, for subscribing. We're only 25 subs away from 1,000. Yeah, everybody, you said you wanted to get insulted, so you donated a sub, or you subbed. That's only one. You did like the minimum possible, so you get the minimum amount of insults. Terrible. If you want to really get insulted, you have to give like 25 subs. Okay, good job. When chess.com tells you you played like a 2750, that's what we call a lie. Okay, for more information on lying, see Donald Trump or any Republican. Yeah, most of you play like 500 strength most of the time, and it says you play 2750, and then you keep giving money to chess.com because chess.com keeps telling you played 2750. And you believe it, so you keep giving them your money every month. Good job. So everybody's happy. If you give me enough money, I'll tell you played 2750 too. I won't mean it, but you know. You played like a 2750 like 5 years after he passed away. The game reviews games were submitted already. So that's in Discord. That's only for subs too. You're not a sub. I'm not even sure how you're allowed to chat not being a sub. Terrible. And so forth. Okay, next. All right, I have to read what this game was all about. The person who submitted this game, Migros, he didn't say whether he was white or black or anything about the game. He didn't say if it was on chess.com or Lee Chess or somewhere else. Okay, so I don't know. Migros, if you're in the chat, can you say what color you wore this game that you submitted? Were you Kraken Who Tries or TL55555? Is the next one of these going to be next Sunday? That's right, every Sunday. White, I don't even know if you're the person who did it, but probably. Okay, so the person who submitted the game may be white. I'm not sure. Okay, so, okay, in this position, white made his first mistake, but probably not his last. Okay, when your opponent plays d5, then you should take it, because e4 like stops black from playing d5. Then after you take it, black's game is in its last throws. Only a Scandi player would love it, and even they don't like it too much. Okay, e5 is a mistake. Now black has the advantage. Okay, and black made a mistake. Next move. Now both players are rated 300, and they played like it. So, you know, you can't really insult them. Black played e6, which blocks in the bishop. And what's funny is when you play e6 on move 1, you're trying to play d5. Black played d5 and didn't play e6. So now black can play bishop f5 or c5, and black stands slightly better. But instead he played e6, and now we just get into an advanced French. Minkle Moment gifted a sub. Thank you. Go gifters of subs. But stay there. Okay, so they played the main line until now. Now white made a mistake. Instead of solidifying his center with c3, white played the move dc. Okay, and if you play dc, it's a marvel if you don't lose. Okay, so dc, not as good as marvel. Bishop takes c5. Okay, now white made another mistake, bishop e3, because that ruins his pawn structure. Okay, in this position, black played the excellent queen g5, threatening these two weak pawns, and basically that wins a pawn. White played bishop b5 check. Knight c6 is okay. c4 is explosive. Now, white mixed the moves bishop b5 and c4 because white played bishop b5. Black now has the excellent move queen takes g2, which wins immediately. And if white tries to save his rook with queen f3, then you lose the other rook, which is actually funny. Okay, so instead of taking this pawn, which wins a lot of material, black took this pawn. Oh, black's still up a pawn. Okay, queen e2. Queen e4, the move nobody would have ever thought of. Okay, basically any move is better than queen e4. Queen e4 allows white to double the pawns and then probably win it back. So here, black can play queen c1 check, for example, with a winning position, or trade queens with a winning position. But instead he played here, now he's not even better. Okay, takes is good, takes. Bishop takes c6 is good. That's the best move. And then knight c5. Okay, I didn't see c5. Here white should play knight c3 and try to get his pawn back. And eventually he will. It might take a few moves, but he will. But he played c5. Now he can't get his pawn back because black can play f5 here. But he played bishop a6, which I also like. f5, good. Long castle. So probably white should take en passant. But since both players are rated in the 300s, we can't assume that white knew what en passant was. Unless we see an en passant capture later. Then we still won't know, because it could be sometime during the game white learned what en passant was. And maybe at this point he didn't know. Taking en passant is good because if the guy takes with the knight, which is the best move, defending the pawn, then black's pawn structure isn't very good. So even though black is a pawn up, white still has drawing chances. But after f5, if you don't take it, now we have a protected pass pawn. The e pawn is weak, so we can try to win the e pawn, and so forth. Rook d8, that's legal. Okay, king takes d8 was the best move. Knight e7, rook d1 check. Knight d5 was the best move. Rook d2, I don't know about that move. King e7, knight takes check. And now we have our second game out of 2 games, 2 out of 2, where somebody has a diamond pawn structure. I wasn't betting on that before the stream started, that the first 2 games would have diamond pawn structures. But I wonder if C takes is the right move. Now, the engine says E takes is right. Because the problem with C takes is it gives white a pass C pawn. White has 3 to 1 on the queen side over here. White could get those pawns going. Knight D4, B4, B5, A4, etc. Okay, he played C6. This is a blunder because you really can't save the pawn now. Rook C8. Okay, that's a mistake because now white can play knight D4. Black should have taken that and then played rook C8. Instead, white played rook C2, which is a really big blunder. And then all black has to do now is take this knight, and the rook is overworked. But instead he played bishop B5, giving white the chance to play knight D4. Then white's doing okay. But white played knight C3. That's unfortunate. Okay, now in this position, black sacrificed a piece with the unusual move rook takes C6 instead of like bishop takes C6 or bishop D3. Bishop D3 is probably the easiest way to win. Okay, now in this position, black sacrificed a rook with the move A6, losing immediately to rook takes rook. But, you know, when black attacked the white knight, white forgot the rooks could capture each other, so white just retreated his knight. Well, white's still winning, so it's not that bad a move. Okay, I would play king takes. You want to move your king up in the endgame, and also you want your knight on D4, because D4 is a good square for your knight. But you have to remember, these people are rated 300, so you gotta give them a break. Okay, knight takes, still winning. G5, knight E3, sort of helps black. Knight F1. Now the engine says black is better, down a piece. Man, harsh. A5, that's not good. G3, that's a mistake. Now black can play F3 and D4. Man, that's getting pretty aggressive. Okay, taking's a mistake. Taking with the pawn is a mistake. Should take with the knight. H5 is a good move. A3 is a very bad move. Too slow. Okay, king D2, H4, king G. These moves are good. Okay, taking on G3 is a blunder. Black wants the outside passed H pawn. He wants white's king to go over here so he can push his D pawn and E pawn. So now white's winning again. Okay, and white can win pretty easily by playing B4 and sacrificing his knight. And then black's king runs over here to stop the pawn, and white takes all the pawns. So white has a pretty easy win here. King F4 is winning, good. King G6. King takes G4, good. A4, that's a good move. B4, wow, that move loses. And this accentuates the fact that I don't think white knows the en passant rule, which we discussed earlier. Okay. However, black did know the en passant rule, and now black is winning. White can easily win by just playing king F4 and moving his knight around and taking this pawn, being up a knight. Now black is winning. White was probably confused, like what kind of sorcery is this? Okay, knight E2, good. B2, good. Knight C3 is good. E3, that's not a good move, but it wins. King F4 is a really bad move. We have to play king F3. After king F4, black can play like this move and win, or this move and win, or this move and win. All the moves win. And he played one of them. Then he queened. Now, I know I shouldn't spoil the rest of the game, but I'm going to spoil it anyway. That way it's funnier for you. This game was not won by black. I didn't tell you the final result. I just said black did not win. Okay, knight here. Okay, now the next two moves are the two worst moves in the game. And I'm serious. You might be like, well, some of those moves were pretty bad. No. Now we're going to see some bad moves. Okay, now we're talking. Okay, so queen e4 check is obviously the most, crushing move. He played queen f5 check, hanging his queen. After knight takes, white is winning, and white played king e3. So that wasn't good. Queen takes check, king d3, check. Queen takes a3, takes, check, check, check. d4, takes. That looks pretty winning. And unfortunately for black, in this position, he made one of the 4 drawing moves. Queen here, king here, and king here. And he played one of them. He played king g3, and the game ended in stalemate. Of course, when white's king is on the back row, black's queen should be on the next row, like queen here. And then we can mate 5 different ways. You got 5 mates, 1 for each of you. But you want your queen on this row when the king is on this row. For more information on how to mate with a queen, see French Grandmaster Etienne Bacrot. He's always mating on the back row. Yeah, one time Bacrot was single and he was dating a woman and they were getting intimate, and all of a sudden she was really surprised and he said, "My name is Bacrot." So that's what happens. Man, the truth hurts. It hurt a lot too. I mean, he's real anal about being back row, so there's nothing you can do about that. Study the Scandi for 18 hours. Well, when you're first starting out in chess and you haven't gotten, to where you want to go yet, and you're 300 strength, the main problem people have is they give pieces away. In this game, one side would give a piece away and the other side wouldn't take it. So a draw was a fair result because we had some blunders. But yeah, you don't want to stalemate when you're up a queen. That should be the only thing you think about, is don't stalemate. But white learned a valuable lesson this game. White learned what en passant is. He may have forgotten, but he knows what it is now. Very typical Scandi game, that's right. Do you remember positions called Lucena position or Philidor position? Or do you look at the board to know if it wins or loses? Well, Bacrot was telling me that sometimes he takes off from the back row and he uses the Philidor position. And some women like that. So, but he never wins when he uses it. It's always a draw. Should use Lucena position, then he could win. I don't understand the question, really. What? I mean, both are true, so I don't know. The answer is yes. Yes to both. You gave an either or question, but it's yes to both of them, so I don't know. Hi, Chess TV. I'm Ben. Karen's playing poker. If she finishes, she'll come down and join us, but that would be unlikely. Man, water tastes good, even though it has no taste. Thoughts on French for beginners? You mean the language or the opening? Okay, that was a good game. Okay, next we have a Thaddius game. This will be slightly higher level. Thaddius didn't say anything. This game was played yesterday in round 1 in the Indiana Team Chess Championship. Thaddius is white, and his opponent, and Thaddius's USCF rating is 1637, although he's obviously stronger than that. And his opponent's rating is 2136. And the time control is game 60, increment 10. Good job, tensor extension. Your opponent's 10 years old? Man, the truth hurts. Okay, so you're white. So far, you haven't done anything wrong. I've never seen the move h3. I've seen castles, d4, and knight c3. I've never seen h3. I'm sure h3 is your secret illegal prep. I've just never seen it. Okay, he played knight f6. That's legal. d3, bishop d6. Okay, pretty boring position. Good. Good to play boring against a 10-year-old. These moves are all good. Okay, and he played the aggressive f5. You took, which is correct. Rook takes. Bishop e3. It's not a bad move. Queen e7. Okay, now in this position, since you played bishop e3, it's definitely time to play knight to d2 because you'd like to play knight e4. So after knight d2, the engine says you're up about 0.7. It likes white's position because black has this isolated pawn. But you played queen e2, which is okay. Now it says after e4, it's equal. He played rook a f8, which is okay. This is okay. This is okay. And you played knight to d4, which the engine does not like at all. It wants you to play either knight d2 or bishop d4. The reason is black is going to play queen e5 and threaten checkmate. If you play knight f1, knight d2, then you have knight f1 to ward off checkmate. And if you play bishop d4, then you're pinning the pawn and attacking it. So either one of those moves gives you a very slight advantage. Now after knight d4, queen e5, the engine likes black. Black's threatening checkmate in 2 moves. Okay, so you played g3. That's what I would play. Rook f6. Yeah, now your knight can't go anywhere, and your h-pawn is weak, and he can attack it with his queen and his rook. Queen f1 gets a bit passive, but all right. c5 is good. Knight e2. Then he just takes the queen side, and your queen side's finished. All your queenside pawns are lost. Queen a4. Okay, that makes sense. Rook takes b7. Man, f3 is weak. Yeah, this isn't good. Knight d2 is an amazing move. Because if you take it, rook takes f2 and e3 check is crushing. But you did take it. See, here's how you know if your opponent's cheating. Okay? If your opponent's not cheating, they play e takes d2. Your opponent played e takes d2 because he's not cheating. If he was cheating, he would play queen d7, threatening queen h3 mate. And then after g4, the only logical move, because queen h3 mate is annoying, then queen f7, threatening queen f3 mate. Now there are no logical moves for white, so you could resign, but okay. And what he did wins, but queen d7 is the engine move. And this is still completely winning. Hey, play queen d7, good move. Rook f3 is a good move. Queen c4 is a good move. Rook d3 is a good move. If only you were threatening mate, but he can always play bishop f8. And he did. Now he only has one winning move, which he played. If he plays queen d6, then white wins with queen f7 check and mate. But he found the only winning move, rook f3. And that's the end of your counterplay. And then you resigned. Well, he played very well. I don't know if he's actually 10, but probably. So the key position in the game was here, and your next 5 moves were bad. Queen e2 is not a good move. And then rook d1 is okay, actually. And then in this position, you have to play bishop d4 or knight d2. Now my question is, in this position, this is my question. The engine gives this. It says after knight g3, it's equal, or bishop d4. I guess after bishop d4, you're winning his e-pawn. And then your bishop is really good. And then bishop d4 is a good alternative. The engine actually prefers white here because of this nice pin. I mean, when I say prefers, like 0.2, like slightly prefers. But this is the key position in the game. After knight d4, queen e5, you're already in trouble. And in this position, queen f1 is just a blunder because you're giving up your queen side. At least here, your queen's defending these 2 pawns. But queen f1 was too passive. This position is like close to loss, but maybe it's not. But this position is definitely losing. All your pawns are hanging now. So now you're losing. And his knight's coming in to f3 also, which would also probably make you losing. Good game from your opponent. Does f4 save your position? The engine actually prefers f4 to what you did, but it still says it's bad for you. He could take with the rook, and then that's better for him. Or he could just take this way. You would take with the knight, and once again, he would take this. And you're a pawn down with a bad pawn structure. But the engine says this is better than what you did, but it's also not good. But it is better than g3. And queen f1 is that's the real culprit here. You could play like queen g4 or c3. Yeah, after queen f1, c5, then you were lost the rest of the game. He didn't let up. Yeah, typically you don't want to play a move like queen f1. It's in the long run, it doesn't work out. But it's weird. You were obviously worried about your king side for obvious reasons, and then you lost your pawns on the queen side. The truth hurts. No, none of the games were blunderfests except for the second one. And maybe the first one. But definitely the second one. Okay, so this is sent by Derp, who's 1700, and his opponent is 1931, and he put opponent for the opponent's name. This is a 75-minute plus 30 increment game from last Monday over the board, and Derp wrote, chess is hard. That is correct. Let's flip the board, because Derp has black. And Derp's paired up 230 points. I don't know where I got my shirts, but I like my shirt. It fits. Queen e5, f4, knight f3, rook f3. Well, then the pawn could take, so I don't know about that. There's other redeeming parts of my stream, like when somebody gives 25 subs and we get to 1,000. We haven't had 1,000 subs all year. It'll be the first time in 2023 we've had 1,000 subs if I can get 25 more. That will be very redeeming. I'm going to redeem those subs for coupons or something. Yay, Thaddius gave 20 subs. Go, Thaddius. Instead of giving all your pieces away, Thaddius, give some subs. $996. Only 3 subs until $9.99. Thanks for 20 subs, Thaddius. You're the best. Last Sunday, we got 253 subs. We had a sub battle going on by 2 or 3 people. I remember when Thaddius played the cheater in a certain sub battle. No, I can't do a 24-hour stream because Karen wouldn't let me. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it anyway, but if I decided to do it, she would say no. So that would be the end of that. Do you this that chess is art? Sure, why not? The first Sicilian you recommend to learn. Well, I'm writing a course on the Sicilian for Chessable that's coming out in December. So buy that one. That's the one I recommend. It's the one I'm writing. Could I stay up 24 hours at my age? What does my age have to do with it? What? How old do you think I am? Yay, that Chi-Town dude gave 5 subs. $1,001 subscribers. Hooray. It's a palindrome. Let's see what this thing says. It says we have 998. Liars. A hype train is close. Let's get a hype train. Because we have the 20 subs and the 5 subs, so we'll start at like level 7. Yay, 45 cents. Thanks, Bullet Club for Lives. What's a hype train? You have to donate a sub and you'll find out. Yay, 5 subs from Depardieu. Yay, we have a train going, I guess. I like bits and subs equally. Okay, so this is Derp is black against opponent. Don't forget to keep giving subs. We're at level 7. We need to get 254 subs today, so we beat last Sunday, which seems unlikely. That was the most subs I've gotten all year. 253 in one day, plus tax. Okay, so Derp is black. He played d5 on move 1, and unfortunately his opponent took it, which is the right move. Okay, knight f6 is one of 2 moves. Queen takes is the other move. d4 is a move. Bishop g4 is a well-known pawn sacrifice. But white didn't play f3 and then defend his pawn. He just played bishop e2, which is a fine move. Nothing wrong with that. Takes, queen takes. And white is slightly better, not too much, just a little bit. c3 is a bit passive, but all right. If white wants to get an advantage, c4 gives him a better chance. c4 is explosive. Dimebag subscribed after he texted me. Go Dimebag. He's still awake. He doesn't care what time it is. Okay, c3, long castle, short castle. Now black played the unusual rook g8, which isn't as bad as it looks. Black wants to play g5, g4, and pretend he's attacking. Pretending is fun. Okay, b4, white can pretend also. g5, bishop e3. Now in this position, black should continue his g5, g4-ness and play g4. And then black can play e5 next move, and black has the initiative. But instead he played knight g4, which is not a good move. Knight bd2, knight takes e3, queen takes e3. Better was pawn takes f3, giving white a nice center, half open f-file. e4 is coming, or c4, b5, and white is much better. Queen takes is a mistake, now black's fine again. e5, could have prefaced it with g4, but okay, e5 is okay. de, now g4, now black is better. Knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and white's position's falling apart. Once upon a time, his position was falling in love. Now it's only falling apart. Okay, now black made a very strange move here, which I don't understand. Okay, now I understand it. So black can play queen takes pawn, but he was worried about queen takes a7. But after queen takes e4, white's all talk and a badge. Thanks, Farty Party. Because the bishop has d6, so the king can just walk out. Yay, 1,000 bits. Thanks for 1,000 bits. So there was no reason to play king b8. You could just take this pawn. But you played king b8. You were worried about, queen takes a7. Queen takes d4. Rook d1. The engine wants white to play knight f6 every move. King c8. I can't take on b4? Yeah, the engine says bishop takes b4. Yeah, I would play bishop takes b4 without thinking. You take a pawn. Give a pawn, take a pawn. Gives you a pass c pawn, too. Okay, knight f6 is good. a3 is legal. And now we have an equal endgame. Knight e3 is not a good move. h5. Now black's better again. E-pawn is weak. All right, now in this position, black made a mistake, which is easily understandable, because the correct move is very hard to find. The correct move is c5. Okay, I don't even know if I would find c5. And the idea is after bc, we can play rook a6. The knight has to go back here, and black has two connected passed pawns on the A and B line. Plus these pawns are weak, and the knight's under attack. So this is a winning endgame for black. +3 for black. Instead, he played bishop g5. Still good. King f1. Bishop f4. Good. Knight b3. Bishop takes e5. Black has a winning endgame again. Very good play by black. Never play f3. Black's doing well so far. And then he plays this mistake, bishop to f6. If black wants to move his bishop, he could play bishop to d4 because white wants to play rook c5, attacking all of these pawns. So you can't play bishop f6. You could play rook c6 or bishop to d4, but you can't play bishop f6 because rook c5, then you can't allow that. Now the game is a draw again. And this is pretty drawn. Nobody's even better here. Okay, knight a6 is a blunder. Oh no, king d3 is a blunder actually. So in this position, the engine says every move draws except king d3, the obvious move. Knight a6 draws, and king f3 draws, and f5 draws. This is the only move that loses. Hard to believe. Because white wants to move his king here and have his f-pawn go here, then black has to stop it, and then it's a draw. Now black doesn't have to stop the f-pawn because it's already stopped because the white king is here. So now actually black's winning in this position. And then here black made double question mark move. The easiest way to win is bishop to d6, trapping the knight. And now white doesn't really have a good move. I would play king e3 if I was white. And then it says c5 wins and king e6 wins. Yeah, the knight's trapped, so white's just going to lose this. You can never play knight here because I take and win. Okay, so instead of bishop d6, he played c5, and now it's a draw if white plays correctly. Knight c7 check. That's a small mistake. Should just take the pawn. C takes b4. The engine wants to play c4 check, which gives black some more winning chances. Okay, and f5 is not the best move, but it draws. And draw agreed, because bishop takes knight, king takes pawn, etc. So black had a lot of winning chances in that endgame, and black was winning several times that game. But as Derp said, chess is hard. Yeah, that's a known idea, trapping a knight with a bishop. Like bishop here, trapping the knight. Those kinds of positions. See all of Fischer's games where he does that to Larson. Or Taimanov, or both. Probably both. But mainly Taimanov. Probably you were in time trouble because it was the end of the game. Yeah, bishop d6 trapping the knight was cool. The only drawing move, the only winning move is king e6. c5 might win, unclear. Now it says c5 is a draw. Yeah, so king e6 is the only winning move. Then you just chill and you zugzwang him because his knight can't move. So you're just going to outflank him with your king. Right, king e6 is the only winning move. That's why bishops are better than knights, because of that position. And no other positions. Just that one. All right, good game, good game. The next game is Decisive Moment versus Ymir. Let's see what the people had to say about this game. I chose this game because the first time I crushed an opponent because he was late in development. White is 14:24 and black is 13:53. Time controls 15 minutes with a 10-second increment. And so forth. I never recommend chess books. The only way to get better at chess is to buy my Chessable courses. There's no other way. Or you can donate to the stream. That's another way to get better. I did write a chess book. That was 23 years ago. I assume everybody had it by now. Okay, Decisive Moment is white. Let's find the decisive moment. I guess it's here. Black played the French defense, and then somehow black lost. Coincidence? Exactly. Did tensor extension do a thing? A marker? Usually they do. Good job, tensor extension. Okay, D4, D5. All right, this is the main line. Still theory. This is one of the main lines of the opening. B4, black can sack a piece here, but did not. Yeah, black can take on B4, which is a known piece sacrifice. I think the engine likes white now. There's a lot of games from the 70s and 80s. Okay, queen D8. Now white has an advantage because black's sort of passive. This line with queen B6, queen A5 check really isn't played anymore at the top level. There was a game Tatev won in the U.S. Women's Championship about 5 days ago, and she played like rook B8, I think, in the opening. She did something funny, but it was prep. Bishop B7 is not really good on B7. Knight B8 to C6 is a common idea. Yay, now white's attacking first. If only the black bishop was on C8, then there'd be some tricks. It's good to take with the bishop because then your knight can get into the game. Yeah, the engine says white is crushing. Always play bishop F8. Good move, good move. Okay, white could play E6 here, crashing through, but knight D3 is good. Castles is actually the best move. But yeah, black is obviously lost. Yeah, black played a bad opening and then didn't play the middle game well and just got run over, basically. Ooh, you can't give this bishop away. It's protecting the A pawn. Wow, that was a very poor choice. Put it in H. The engine ignores the queen and plays rook takes A6. I guess rook check, B5 is mate. So if you take the queen, then black only has one legal move, and then checkmate with advantage. That would have been brilliant. But he played queen E2, also winning in a more mundane way. Bishop takes B6 doesn't make a lot of sense. Rook takes A6. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, takes with check. Still winning for white. King C8. What? Bishop takes A6. I would have taken with a rook. Not saying it's better, but it's obviously better. And here black resigned. Good idea. A crushing victory for white. And if you are going to play queen B6, queen A5 check, C takes D4, then you should take this. If you play queen D8, black just has a bad position here. And black playing A6, B5, bishop E7, that didn't help at all. That was very poor. Yeah, this old main line from 100 years ago, it goes like this. And then I don't know what black does here. I guess black has more than one move here. But like between 1970 and 1990, this was played at the top level. And I think they decided white had a big advantage. So they stopped playing it with black. But then they stopped playing everything. They don't play queen B6 and queen A5 check and all that. It's very rare to play queen B6 now. A6 is a move. Taking on D4 is probably the most common, etc. Good game from white. Good final position. Really a crushing game. The French defense has a bad reputation at the top level. I feel nothing about Damian Lillard joining the Bucks. I got no feeling. It's like any other NBA trade. It doesn't matter at all. You can try to see mate in one, but you'll never succeed. Never. All these people trying to play chess with me. I'm not playing chess today. Boo, boo. All right, now we'll take a break because I'm tired. We're almost halfway through the games. And by almost, I mean we're about halfway through the games. Now we'll talk to the chat. What does the chat have to say for itself? Are you guys looking forward to the Isle of Man tournament? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Yeah, your game made the cut, CL Smith. Your game is number 9 of 11. Isle of Dogs, never heard of it. The Falcons won as time expired. So yes, they did win. They kicked a 51-yard field goal as the clock reached 0. And they won 16-13 in a terrible game. Really bad offense. Lots of penalties, lots of turnovers. It's like two bad teams playing. The Falcons should have scored like 35 points, but instead of getting touchdowns, they would get 0, which is close to a touchdown. There were 3 touchdowns they should have got, and they got 0 points out of it. Bijan Robinson wasn't feeling well. He was sick. The Lions got beat like the Lions of yesteryear. And by yesteryear, I mean like, always. Darth Ziggler subscribed. Hooray! Ritter's a bad quarterback. What do you want? We have a bad quarterback. The Browns won today in very suspicious fashion. It seemed like the refs were cheating to let them win. Whenever the game was over, they would call a late penalty and make up some penalty. So the Browns kept getting more and more chances. Then they barely got a touchdown from the 1-yard line on 4 plays. There was first and goal on the 1, and then the first 3 plays got 0 yards. Then they got 1 yard on the 4th play as the game was ending. But there's a lot of penalties called near the end, which were sort of fake calls. So I guess one of the refs bet on the Browns or something. The Browns are 4-2, I think. They're bad, but they have a good record. Most of the teams are pretty bad. Like the Lions are bad, they're 5-2. So that means like most of the teams are bad. The funniest game today was the Bears crushing the Raiders, which is very funny. Man, when the Bears crush you, that's not good. Also, I don't think their quarterback played for the Bears. I think they had him sub in. It seems like at least half the time the reserves are better than the starters. Like sometimes there's a starter who's bad, and they just gave him a big contract, so they just have to keep playing him. And then when he gets injured, then the team starts doing okay because he's not good. Yeah, giving bad quarterbacks big contracts is weird. I mean, you might as well give the contract to a good quarterback. That would be my recommendation. Duh, Bears. The only thing worse than the bad quarterbacks are the bad coaches. The coaches in the NFL make just terrible decisions all the time. They seem totally baffled all the time. Like all the coaches. They just seem like they don't know anything about football. And they're the coach. They have all these coaches under them too. But they do everything wrong. Terrible. Did you see Netflix's new Queen's Gambit video game? That sounds made up. Definitely made up. No such thing exists. Remember that. Let's see. I was watching the Chiefs game. Both teams, terrible defense. God. Jesus Christ. 31-17 final. Wow, the Chargers couldn't score in the second half? Terrible. Taylor Swift spotted a Chiefs game. I can't believe it. The Kansas City Swifties, that's right. Yeah, that was probably the cashier of the gas station. All right, next game. Boo. Okay, this says white versus black. Well, also there's no moves. So I guess the copy and paste didn't work. Man, the truth hurts for whoever's game that is. I copied and pasted it and put it there, but there's no moves. This is from the guy who put in like 10 games, but none of them were in PGN. But I copied and pasted this and no moves were put out. Man, the truth hurts. Well, at least he put in 4 or 5 games. Oh well, the truth hurts. Next. If it's not in PGN, I can't help you. Let's see. What does this say? This was a game. I don't see any moves here either. Getting confused. Okay, this is the game. Alexander Dr. Bandera against Susan. Hi, Ben. This is one of my 3-minute games. It's not very well played. I blunder with bishop takes d3, but I wanted to show you this game because I found a trick at the end with very little time. The trick doesn't win, but my opponent blundered and I won. I found a trick, but the trick doesn't win, but he blundered. Doesn't sound like you found a trick then. Please criticize my bad opening play. Okay. And the other games that were put, I copied and pasted them and they didn't work. So that's unfortunate for you guys. Okay, so our hero is black. He's rated 1071, and the player with white is rated 1082. Okay, so black made a mistake on move 1. Yeah, here black made a very poor move. D5. Not a good move. Okay, and then white made a even worse move. I mean, just take it, you're already close to winning. Knight c3, what? All right, now after d4, black's close to winning. So, of course, black played d takes c4. All these moves are ridiculous. Okay, e4, very anti-positional. e5 is the first non-bad move of the game. Bishop c4 is good. Knight c6. Queen f3. What? Man, I was going to make fun of black, but then white played queen f3. Knight f6. Good, stopping mate. Knight h3. Put it in h. Now here black could play knight d4, which is annoying, but instead he played h6, which isn't terrible. Castles. The engine wants to play g5 here. That's my kind of engine. It's hard to stop g4. g5 threatening g4. Man, that's tough to defend against. No wonder the engine wants to play g5. Man. Okay, you played bishop e7. Bishop b5. Castles is good. Black has the two bishops. Okay, rook b8, that's legal. a4. I just ate. a4. I mean, I didn't just eat, but it feels like it. So you guys are lower rated than me, I think. If you're higher rated than me, why are you watching this? Like, what's wrong with you? Okay, although, by the way, a lot of people higher rated than me would like this. They should watch this. They'd find it enjoyable. Shijin Drake subscribe. Thank you. Okay, so this is serious now. See, some moves are bad, like queen f5, and then black takes the queen, and that's because white didn't see bishop takes queen. And then black doesn't take the queen, and black plays bishop b7, because black didn't see it either. I understand those bad moves. You didn't see your queen was hanging. You didn't see their queen was hanging. I understand that. Okay, I don't understand these moves, so I need you guys to, like, explain them to me, because you're closer in rating to them. Okay, what makes a person play the move a4 in this position? What's their thought process? Like, how can I make my position worse? How can I make a move that does nothing? How can I not develop my bishop? How can I not get my knight off of h3? What are they thinking when they play a4? Like, if I played a4 and somebody asked me why, I would say something, but I don't understand a4. a4 doesn't lose material. It's just a move that has nothing to do with chess. It's like, that move is legal, so I'll play a4. Lust for gold? Maybe. Supports knight b5. I don't think white should play knight b5. Prophylaxis against a5, a4. It was my turn. Yeah, by the way, random pawn moves are like the worst thing you can do because you can't take them back. Okay, back to the game. Bishop a6. Okay, so in this position, white made like the worst move imaginable because he was playing for a trick. White played rook b1. Okay, and the point of rook b1 is to hope your opponent plays bishop takes d3. And black played bishop takes d3, which is a blunder. If black wants to win the game immediately, you could play queen d3, threatening queen takes rook. Then if you traded queens, then you'd be winning the exchange. Instead, he played bishop d3. That's why white played rook b1, hoping that black would fall into the trick. And then black did, so white played rook d1. So white played for a trick, and black walked right into it. I mean, what did black think white was going to play there? I mean, rook d1. Come on, man. All right, so that was terrible from everybody. c5. All right, so white's up a piece for nothing, but that doesn't mean the result of the game is established. Now black played f6. Never play f6. Man, why play rook c1 when you could play rook to d7? Man. Okay, so he played the move rook takes b2. That's the trick he was talking about. Then he said the trick didn't work because his opponent played here. That's actually a mistake. It's funny, like white's up a knight, but his knight's over here, so it's like useless. Rook b to c1 is better. Then queen c2. That's a good trick. And in this position, white made the worst move imaginable. Okay, I'm going to tell you how bad this move is. Okay, and I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. Okay, he didn't hang mate and wand. He didn't do that. And queen takes g7 check is better than what white did. Because the engine says so. So the only move is rook a1. There is no other move. And then white is close to winning because white's up a piece. But rook a1's the only move. Okay, but white played queen c3, which loses to everything. So queen takes queen is an obvious win, and queen takes b1 is a win. So queen c3, white overworked his own pieces. So rook after rook a1, white's doing well. Then queen takes c3, and the game ended in mate. And white's knight never moved off of h3. So white got what he deserved. So that game was blunderful, but it was a 3-minute game, and they're rated 1,000, so that was pretty good. But this explains why when I have sub Saturdays, I beat all you guys, because you guys play like that. There's a lot of one-move blunders in your games. But bishop takes d3, that's pretty bad. In this position, instead of losing a piece for nothing, he could have gotten 2 rooks for a queen and a piece. That would have been better. This would be harder for white to win because white's knight is so bad. Then I have knight takes e4 playing for this trick. So this position, black has some chances to hold on. Although black won the game, so what do I know? He didn't resign, he got mated. Yeah, the game ended in checkmate. No resigning. Manmoth 1990 subscribed. Hooray! Go Manmoth. 65 months. With a comma. What? With a comma? What? Oh, I understand. I don't think there's a comma there. Xenoid gave an unusual amount of bits, 465. Usually he gives 400. Yay, SJM's McFarlane gave 65 bits. Also, I said his name wrong. Sussun gifted a sub. We got to our 1,000 goal. Can we get to 1,100? That would be good. Get my Chessable course. It's a good holiday present. Dr. Turnus gave 1,000 bits. It's our break for you guys to donate and give bits. That's the break we're taking. If you want to give bits and subs and get noticed, this is your chance. Yeah, Cameo's a good holiday gift too. I do a lot of cameos. If you guys like Cameo, mine's are cheap. Cheaper than the other people you got cameos from. Anand also does cameos, and his are only 150. Mine are a lot cheaper, but I mean 150 for Anand is pretty good. A friend of mine who's on the stream here a lot, his wife gave him one for his birthday, I think. No, Snoop actually charges you more if he doesn't light up. He has to light up during it. So, yeah, that's the default setting. You can pay extra to not have him light up. Little known fact, Snoop Dogg once sang happy birthday on her birthday to Jennifer Shahade. True story. You can't make that stuff up. I think he changed his name back to Snoop Dogg from Snoop Lion. I think that was just for a little bit. Although I'm not sure if Kesha got the dollar sign out of her name. It's just an H now or S now, or she put it back. I think it's still just Kesha without a dollar sign. No, you just played the dumbest game of your life so far. You'll top it soon. Probably with your next game. Speaking of next game, white versus black. White is 14:33 and black is 13:59, and it's a 10-minute game. I was playing black. My opponent ended up resigning. I don't think I did well in the beginning, but think I eventually made up for it. From Dr. Turnus. Dr. Turnus won. Time control, 10 minutes. Okay, so Dr. Turnus is black. His opponent's higher rated, and he won eventually. Yeah, but Kesha took the dollar sign out of her name, so it's just Kesha. I don't think she put the dollar sign back. She should make the H like a pound sterling sign instead. I wonder if Kesha works at Burger King now. Hey, trying to learn. We broke 1,000 subs today. Although at some point on a Sunday in 3 weeks, we're going to lose 250 subs. Man, that's going to be tough. Yeah, like that. That's good, Man Moth. Kesha was good because I used to wonder who was the worst singer, Kesha or what's her name? I know her name. I'm going to think of it. Damn. Katy Perry. Yes, I did it. Yeah, who's the worst singer, Kesha or Katy Perry? Discuss. The chat is arguing. Easily Kesha, probably Katy Perry. Kesha's definitely Seinfeld's favorite singer. I assume Katy Perry is worth a lot more money than Kesha. Kesha probably worth about $10. I like the way Katy Perry was banned from Sesame Street. I've never seen the sentence starting Katy Perry sings better than. Wow. It corrupted a whole generation of youth. What? That's right, Man Moth. You're correct. Okay, let's go to the game here. Our hero has the black pieces. I forgot. What did I say? Oh, yeah, Dr. Turnus. Okay, he's our hero. 10-minute game. B6. Very suspicious. I like it. So far, so good. All these moves are great. The engine doesn't like that move. It wants to play knight CE2 and try to trap the knight because the knight's sort of trapped. Okay, so after knight takes, now black has everything he wants. Yeah, this is fine for black. Okay, and that's a mistake which black didn't take advantage of. Instead of castling, losing the e4 pawn, now white's, pawn up. Black could play queen takes d4, destroying everything that white's worked for in his whole life. Then queen g7, rook f8. The bishop has to move somewhere. The engine says bishop f1's the best move. Yay, go engine. But black's winning here because wherever the bishop moves, black's going to play knight d7 and win this. And then black will have a nice center pawn, chain there. So this is terrible for white. Instead of queen takes d4, black castled. So now we have either bishop h6 winning material or queen e4. They're both good. Bishop h6 is the engine move. So now white's a pawn up for nothing. Big money, no whammy, stop. $5. Thanks, Farty Party. Now I can go to the movies by myself. Okay, let's go back to the game. c5, good move. dc, terrible move. He should have played c3 and had a nice center. Now his pawn's weak again. Now black's going to win this pawn later by taking this knight and taking the pawn. Okay, the engine doesn't like that move. It wants to play queen c5, putting pressure on all of white's pieces. Yay, he won his pawn back. Now it's about equal. Okay, bishop h6 is just a blunder that loses a piece. Okay, so like when this is lined up like this, you want to have it not lined up. So probably moving the queen away from g3 was good. Instead he played here. Now black to play and win, and black found it. I can't even make fun of him. Dr. Turnus played knight g6, attacking the queen whilst simultaneously attacking the bishop. Frankly, that's great. Now black's up a piece. Hooray! Now black's up a piece and a pawn. Rook D could have taken this with check, bit up another pawn. But he should just win with his extra piece, I would assume. He's mopping up. Bishop g1. Wow, that's who I wouldn't have thought of. But it still wins. King g5 instead of taking the knight. Unusual choice. Never play f6. And the game ended here. Thanks, Poingalis, for all the send-to-dos. And black wins. Yay! That was nice, knight g6. Okay, the next game is from the Alabama State Championship between C.L. Smith and Bill Melvin. Bill Melvin's a floored master. I think his son is an expert. I think I'm thinking of the right people. And he's playing against C.L. Smith, who's 1,600, but he's underrated. Okay, and this was, I don't know when the game was played in September. Labor Day weekend. And C.L. Smith is white. Yay, Poingalis keeps giving 10, 15 cents. All right. Everybody give 10 cents or so. I'll make a lot of money that way. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. If everybody watching this stream gave me 10 cents, that'd be a good stream. That'd be one of my best streams ever. Yeah. You're mailing a dime? Good, good. All right, this will be the game of the stream because, you know, C.L. Smith. D4. And black played the Benko gambit. White played queen C2. That looks vaguely familiar. Thanks, Gameatron, isn't queen C2 what I recommend in my course? I think so. Isn't that in my Chessable course? Yay, Poingalis gave 110 bits or so. What a mistake. Where'd C.L. Smith go? We're looking at your game. Why aren't you chatting? Isn't Queen C2 what I recommend in my Chessable course? I'm insulting C.L. Smith. You think it is. What? You didn't memorize my Chessable course? Okay, Queen A5 check. That's legal. Knight D2. BC or BCE. And white has a clear advantage already. Black's position is hopeless and helpless. Knight F3. White's playing perfect chess. Queen D3 instead of castling. You should castle. Unpin your knight. It's too dangerous for him to try to take a pawn because his king is in the center. Okay, but Queen D3 is okay. Just not, it's not as quick. Still good. Still good for white. Yanja doesn't like B3 very much, but I think B3 is okay. It doesn't like knight here either. It wants to play knight A6 to B4. Yeah, this is just really nice for white. Very pleasant position. So far, so good. Knight F1's good. The knight's heading to F5. Knight G4 is risky because of bishop to B5. Okay, now you played Queen C3, which is not a move I would have considered. I mean, it's legal, but barely. Yeah, you could play Bishop B5 here. That would be annoying. Bishop C3 is also good. Yeah, Queen C3 I wouldn't have thought of. Yeah, now the engine says black is completely equal. Yeah, because white could have a kingside attack with all your pieces pointing to the kingside. You don't want to trade queens there. Your king is safer than his. All right, so you have this equal endgame. Never play f3. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Still equal. White's slightly better. I like g4. I don't know if the engine likes it, but I like it. Still equal. Knight g4 question mark. Now white's slightly better. No, knight g4 is okay. And bishop f5 check is a mistake. That's just a tactical mistake, bishop f5 check. See, his bishop is defending his a pawn. So bishop f5 check undefends his a pawn, so it's a mistake. Yeah, now black's actually losing. So he played a5, and now with the bishop on f5, you have h5. So bishop f5 is like double question mark move. In this position, it's about equal. He should play knight e5. I don't know why he wants his knight here. e5 is a great square. But he blunders with this, and then h5 is winning for white. And then after knight f1, you posted this on Twitter explaining how you found the only winning move. Very good. And you played bishop f1, trapping his knight. So if C.L. Smith had blundered with h6, then knight h3 check wins this pawn. Well, the engine still prefers white because the h pawn is so strong. But bishop f1 just wins cleanly. There's no reason to allow knight h3 check. Now this pawn's a queening. So now the game's over. Always play bishop f1. Whoa. I messed up there. I went too far. Okay, bishop f1. I clicked the wrong thing. G takes h is forced, otherwise white's just queening the h pawn. Knight e4 is the best move. King f6 is best. Bishop h3. Here comes the g pawn. And there it goes. Yay, go C.L. Smith. You played queen takes knight instead of queen b7 mate? You're good enough to see queen b7 mate. You were too excited. You literally didn't care, or figuratively. Queen e2, that's a Karpovian move. No counterplay. And then he resigned after queen e2. Go, bishop f1. And so forth. Banned by tensor extension. Good job. Yeah, queen e2 is very Karpovian. Everybody needs to sub. You shouldn't be here unless you're a sub. We need thousands of subs. All right, let's look at some football scores. Let's see, what don't I know? The Broncos beat the Packers 19-17. The Broncos won a game? What? The Steelers beat the Rams 24-17? Wow, these are all shocking scores. Seahawks beat the Cardinals. That's normal. The other scores I think I knew already. Yeah, I knew all the other scores. All right, who's playing tonight? The Dolphins are playing the Eagles. That'll be a good game. They start in 1 minute. The Steelers are 4-2. They are pretty bad. The Lions are 5-2. So CL Smith with the big upset win. Your first win over a master. Good job. Somebody has to beat those masters. Did you analyze your game with Bill when it was done, or did he just leave? Did he say anything after the game? That wasn't even my first win over a master in that tournament. God damn. CL Smith beat 2 masters in the same tournament. I wonder if they were bridge masters. Yay, Big Daddy with 1 bit. If everybody gave 1 bit, the stream would be worth it. Go 1 bit. Yay, 2 bits. Thanks, Poingalis. That's twice as good. 2 bits a gander. Okay, next game. All right, white is 1544, which used to be my rating. My USCF rating used to be 1544, like in 1980 or 1979, against PSO Lee 1527. A 10-minute game. Rufus and Doofus, what else? I played black. So PSO Lee, who had black, that's who submitted the game. This game was played on Lee chess, so those are Lee chess ratings. 1500 and 1500. So, yeah. Yay, Big Daddy and Poingalis in 11 years, giving a few cents. Good, good. Keep giving those cent-to-dos. It's our only hope. Also, we're due for a hype train, so if you guys want to start a hype train, I won't complain. Okay, so our hero is black. This is a 10-minute game on Lee chess. So far, every move is better than perfect. Okay, until knight g5 was played. Okay, now in this position, this move proves that the ratings are Lee chess ratings. This proves it. Knight g5, that doesn't prove anything. But the next move does, and the next move, and the next move, and so forth. Okay, black, instead of defending his pawn on f7 with knight h6, okay, he played the move queen d7. Now remember, these are Lee chess ratings, so I think when you start Lee chess, you're like 2200. So they must have lost every game they ever played because they're 1500. Okay, now white can play knight takes f7, winning immediately, but he played bishop f7 check. So black is still in the game now. King e7, bishop b3. It's a very unusual Traxler variation. Very unusual. But it's similar. Knight f7, that's just an awful move. After rook f8, black's better now. Knight f7 is terrible. Okay, then he went back to g5, which is correct. h6, and then he went to e6. h6 is actually a mistake because of knight e6. Black should play knight d4 here, stopping knight e6, and then I can play h6 later. Black is actually fine here. And now black's lost again. Rook e8, knight takes g7, rook f8, and the game ended in a draw. Rook here, rook here. Draw by reputation. Okay, actually knight e6 was played, I was kidding. Rook g8. Now white. White has the obvious tactic missed by both players. Knight takes c5, attacking the rook and the queen. But instead, white castled. Black played queen e8. Again, white has the same tactic, but he played knight c7. And now after queen g6, black has a big attack. The engine says this position's about equal. Bishop g8. And in this position, black equalizes if he plays bishop g4. Attacking the queen, f3 is illegal. And if black plays bishop f3, he's got a mating attack going. So the engine says queen d2, bishop f3, rook takes g8, and it says this position is equal. Black's down in exchange, but he has a monster attack. Okay, instead black played knight takes g8. Okay, that's not good. Knight takes a8, bishop h3, g3. Better is queen f3, although g3 also wins, but queen f3 wins more cleanly. Queen f6, queen e2, knight d4. Queen e2, not a good move, walking into knight d4. It's not good. These are Lee chess ratings. Queen d2. What? God damn. Okay, queen d2 is by far the worst move in the game. It's not even close. Queen d2. God damn. We'll just say queen d2 was a mouse slip and he meant to play queen d1. White's still winning after queen h5. So queen d2 loses for two reasons. Knight f3 check and knight takes queen. But black played better than that. Black played queen f3. And white had good development. Now he played the engine move, queen g5 check. King e6 question mark, allowing knight c7 check. I mean, I'm kidding, but it's still funny. And then white resigned. Man, Lee chess's ratings are getting out of hand here. Anyway, that was a very poor game. Strategically speaking, black doesn't want to play d6 here because you want to castle. So you should play knight f6 here and then castle next move. But if you're not going to castle and the guy goes here, you should defend your pawn. And then if the guy's going to let you take on f7, take with the knight so you win the rook. Although he did win the other rook, so he showed me. And then knight here's no good. And then h6 is terrible. And then rook g8 is terrible. Castles is terrible. All these moves are terrible. Knight takes g8 is terrible. And then in this position, queen e2 is bad. And queen d2 is insane. That's crazy. Queen e2 to d2. That's, you know. So there were a lot of poor moves in that game. And black had a good attack going at some point. And white's defense was suboptimal. Suboptimal. It wasn't optimal. We need 87 subs to get to 1,100. 87 is not a lot. If any of you guys are the Popo, you can give 187. Yay, go CFC. Right, that's right, Poingalis. You tell him. Get that train started. We only need 8.7 people to give up 10 subs. Who's 0.7 of a person? Anybody? Maybe if you're like 4 years old, you haven't really gotten to be a person yet. So you 0.7. You'll be the 0.7? Okay. Yay, Poingalis gave 200 bits. He's starting off the train. Amputees, good answer. Make sure to prime subscribe. That almost rhymes. So it turns out Deion Sanders is a subscriber to my channel. He doesn't play chess, but he liked the fact that he could prime sub. So he wanted any chance he could get to prime sub, so he did. I think his son plays or something. Anyway, I banned him from the stream because they blew a 29-point lead against Stanford. So he's banned. Yay, a hype train is close, but I don't know why. Eugene von Savoyen subscribed to Tier 1. Hooray! That's why a hype train is close. All right, somebody start the hype train so I can clap. Hooray! We need a hype train, etc. Always play F3. Poingalis gave 101 bits. But you already gave before, so that doesn't help the hype train. Boy, White didn't develop his pieces too good. This knight made more moves than you realize. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then at the end of the game, 7. He actually did develop his bishop near the end. Everett Will gave 200 bits. Thanks, Will. Where there's a will, there's a way. How much is a game review? Well, we already have the game submitted before the stream starts. You have to connect your Discord or your Discord name to your Twitch name, and your Twitch handle has to be a sub to my channel. So it's sort of complicated. Very few people can do it, and those are the games that we look at. It costs nothing to look at your game, but you have to be a sub to my channel. You have to be a member of my Discord, and you have to connect the two. Then you have to put the game in the right Discord channel. That's so complicated, we have very few people do it. We had 11 games submitted today. Not a science mind, 100 bits. Do you need a good memory to be good at chess? No. Wait, what'd you ask? I forgot what you asked, but no. Not a science mind, 100 bits. Yay, Poingalis with a few bits. Let's go, hype train. So I heard that they have there's a ceasefire now in the Middle East, and there's an offer on the table. Hamas will surrender, and Palestine will have a new state. They have a new area. They're going to move all Palestinians, if they want to, because they're going to own the region, to Gary, Indiana. So that'll be known as Palestine now, Gary, Indiana. That's the offer that's on the table. So we'll see. Man, the truth hurts. It's a crime against humanity moving them to Gary, Indiana. Man, the truth hurts. See, you might not think much of Gary, Indiana, but do you know the song Gary, Indiana? Yeah, also, I'm not kidding. That song's pretty old, but still. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. Poingalis gave some more bits. I welcome my Palestinian neighbors here in Gary. All right. Michael Jackson is from Gary. Nope, not Paris, France, New York, or Rome. Man, Poingalis is giving a lot of bits today. Let's go hype train. Let's get past level 1. We need more hype. They could go to Paris, Texas. Not a science mind. If someone is 23 years old and he is a beginner, can be GM or IM maybe in 40-year-old? No. East St. Louis, also good. Man, that's worse than Gary, Indiana. God damn. Yay, not a science mind gave a few bits. Why not, though? Because I said so. No, we died at level 1. You guys are the worst. Thanks, not a science mind. We missed the train. Boo. If you start chess at 23, you'll be lucky to get a 4-digit rating. Oh, snap. I don't know if somebody starts playing golf for the first time in their life when they're 23, will they be on the PGA Tour when they're 40? The answer is fries. Gary's not dangerous anymore. No. All right, then East St. Louis it is. Any question you have, like, if I do this in chess and this happens, can this happen? The answer is no. It doesn't matter what the question is. It's like a Mad Lib. Like, if I blank, play chess blank for blank, can I ever become blank? No. It's always no. I'm the gatekeeper of chess. Yay, E6 Vo 9 subscribed. Hooray. We need 85 subs. Who's going to step up? We've already missed the train. It's George? Oh, okay. I thought it was E6 Vo 9. You wish you played like a 6-year-old. Okay, next game and the last one is my game. I didn't submit it, but my opponent did. Okay, we'll look at it from my point of view because I'm white. My opponent submitted this game we played yesterday during the Sub Saturday stream. Okay, I was white in a French defense. My opponent played the burn variation. I think bishop c4 is more popular now, or bishop e3. But I played bishop d3. I don't really play white in a French, but I do on the internet. Queen e2, that's good. Bishop g5 is good. h6 is good. h4, it says, is not so bad. It says he should play queen a5 check. He played bishop e7. It says that's a mistake. And after castles, it says I'm already much better. Knight d7, it says that's a blunder. And now queen e4 wins. That's what I played. Played g6. I took on h6. Then I played h5. The engine likes the way I'm playing. Knight f6, attacking my queen. Queen f4, that's okay. Bishop d6. Queen g5. I thought he was going to play knight takes h5, then I was going to take with the rook. He played knight d5. And then I took all this free material. Played knight f4. I kept taking free material. And now I'm up 3 pawns, or I'm up 2 pawns. Plus I have an initiative. Knight h7 check is a good move, because I want to play rook takes bishop and bishop takes knight. So for example, if here I take, and then if takes I go here and I win everything. So he played king e5, and I played rook he1, and this is actually made in 2 moves. I'm threatening bishop g7 checkmate, and I'm also threatening bishop g6 and rook takes knight mate. And in this position, he resigned. So I played pretty well considering like half the games I play silly. But I decided not to play silly this game. So he was a little overmatched. His rating was 1586. But his big mistakes were in this position, he played bishop e7. That's a bad move. He should play queen a5 check, because if I play c3, it's hard to castle queenside because my a2 pawn's hanging. And then bishop d2 relieves some of the pressure against his king. And then knight d7 is just a blunder. He should play queen c7, because now queen e4 is winning. So he made those 2 mistakes, then he's just lost the rest of the game. But then he lost a little quicker than he should have. King e5, you know, not so good. So, yeah, don't play me because I might win. The truth hurts. Yeah, that game I actually played pretty well. Shocking. Let's see what it says. How do I go to my games? I click on me. Let's see. That didn't work. Let's see, where am I? Let's see, click play. This is going to be fun if I can find the game. And then games. And then, let's see, Bonarici. No, that's not it. Here it is. Game review. I only played 81.4, it says. He played 64.4. And it says I'm 2,300. It says I had 2 misses and 2 inaccuracies. Dang. I thought I played well. Man, 81.5, that's terrible. And the truth hurts. What's this game? This is a different game. Oh, I think I looked at the wrong game. Okay, that's why I played so bad. I must have played him more than once yesterday. Ah, here we go. All right, let's see if I play better this game. That was another game that I beat him in the same yesterday. I didn't realize I played him more than once. I might have played him 5 times. I don't know. An inaccuracy is a weak move which isn't as good as the best move. That's what it says. I played 89.6 and he played 74.1. It says I had 1 inaccuracy. No mistakes, no misses, no blunders. It's sitting all my moves double exclam. Castles, queen e4. It says I'm 2550 and he's 1950. I made 2 brilliant moves. Like it says castles is a brilliant move and queen e4 is a brilliant move. I didn't realize how brilliant it was. Very suspicious. Yeah, how could chess.com insult me like that? Actually, that makes sense. All right, let's see who's winning the football game. That's more important than this stream. 3-0 Eagles. Well, that's not too exciting. I always wondered who was a better quarterback, Tua or Hurts. But now we're going to find out. The truth hurts. So tomorrow's Monday, and the lecture topic, which I don't know what I'm supposed to do, is like the greatest players of all time. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, like show games. Like Karen will tell me. She knows what I'm supposed to do, but I don't. That's the lecture tomorrow at 6 Eastern. You can sign up by looking at Discord or looking at Twitter and seeing how to sign up. You just email Karen and send her PayPal $10, basically. Karen at atlchessclub.com. I lecture every Monday. They're sponsored lectures. If you want to sponsor a lecture, then contact Karen. And you can sponsor a lecture. Burrow is better? Not this year. Man, I think Burrow's injured this year. He's playing hurt. That's not how it's spelled Averbach, but everybody knows that game. That's the most famous game ever. Also, I've never heard of that game. Yeah, Averbach died last year. Man, the truth hurts. Different Averbach. No. How many Averbachs are there? At least 2. Did you see Proust rank Fluto as the greatest chess player of all time? I didn't see that, but that's interesting. You can rank people by how much ahead of their time they were. Maybe that's what he meant. And Scott likes to copy and paste. One thing he doesn't like to do is sub to the stream. Oh, snap. Anyway, those games were better than last week's. There were some good games there. This GM Benjamin Feingold guy played pretty well that game. I didn't have a lot to say about his play. You should give your money to bozos if you're not giving it to Bezos. It's Raj showing up at the end of the stream. On purpose, I might add. I mentioned you in the stream, Raj. I talked about your cameo with Anand. William Rubin subscribed. Hooray. We only need 80 more subs to get to 1,100. And Raj is here, so it's almost a given. What happens at 1,100? Then I say we only need 100 more subs to get to 1,200. That's what usually happens. I like those nice round numbers. Toddler bedtime, truth hurts. No. How old is your toddler, Raj? 2? 3? 2.5? 1.7? Maybe he's 0.7. .7 be the right age. 2.5? Yeah, that's a toddler. Can you post the PGN? No, don't do that. No PGNs will be posted. If you want to see a great game, we could look at all of my games I ever played, except for one thing. No PGNs. Can we see your game with Galfand? Yes. Good question. How do I analyze a game? If only I knew how to do it. I wonder if I can remember the game. I'm such an old man. Boo! Boo! Longcastle sucks. Yeah, Rook DG8's not a good move either. A5 was good in C5. Those are actually the engine moves. The G4's terrible. If he plays King B7, I check and play Knight B5 check. So he played Knight B8, and I played check, and he resigned. It says I'm +7. That's not very good. Then Gelfand went on to play for the World Championship with Anand, tying him at 6-6 and losing the playoff. And on Sundays, I look at your games. So that's what happened to us. Man, the truth hurts. How much do I think video makes a difference? If you don't get the video, then what are you doing? Castles was the worst move that he played. The Castles loses. So it's, I mean, if he castles kingside, it's equal. That was a terrible move. Technically a miniature, 25 moves by me. I think that's a miniature, 25 or less. He didn't make move 25, so it's a miniature. Hooray. Yeah, but I beat Gelfand first. Simon stole all my thunder by beating him after I did. We've never talked about the game. Yeah, he started analyzing the game. I just walked away and shook my head because it played so bad. How do you submit PNGs? I don't know. Good question. Don't submit PNGs. That's my answer. All right, who am I going to raid? Let's see. I follow him? What? Who's Karen following? Yeah, I'll raid him. We both follow him. I can't spell. All right, so tomorrow, Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, is my weekly lecture on Zoom. Contact Karen for information, Karen@atlchessclub.com. Just pay her PayPal $10 and you'll get the link to the lecture. And I'll see you guys Tuesday night for my next stream. And Karen will be at Music Bingo, and then she'll show up at the end. We'll do puzzles and so forth. All right, have a good night. Have a good bishop, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday, and I'll see a couple of you on Monday. Bye.